Hold up. Yo, we're live. Flip Life lockdown episode. What episode is it?
Episode 8, I think.
7. Yo, you're the episode 7, but Abby's on episode 8. What?
Is it not episode 8?
No, it's episode 7 still. Unless I'm wrong and I've got the numbers wrong, but I've written episode 7. So today we don't have Big Ben. Oh no, we do. I just don't know where he is. We're debating snitching in light of the recent viral sensation of 6ix9ine coming out of prison and blowing up the internet again. So that will be coming. That will be the debate. It's been going off online. We also got a special guest, Mrisi, joining us a little bit later to talk to us about his new single, which is absolutely fire. Let's actually see what Ben's saying. Like, let's call him.
Ben, where's Ben?
That man just not here. Like, you know, that man. Usually, man will be like, "Oh yeah, I'm late still." Like, or usually it's Abby saying that.
Be sleeping.
Look, he just appeared. Man, as his phone's ringing,
like he's trying to come in.
I was trying to put you on blast.
For what? Being late?
Yeah, I called your phone. I was ringing your phone like on loudspeaker. I mean, do you know what? Abby just came in like literally a minute before 8. I was sitting there thinking, yo, I'm gonna group call both of you if I have to go live on my own.
No, Abby ain't even really here, man. Look, she ain't got a picture up. It's just me. I'm late.
She came in and she hit.
I'm here, Ben. Don't try it.
I can't see you, fam. You're not here.
No, I'm here. You can see my name, so you can hear me.
We got. Boris Johnson just done the.
Can you close my door, please?
Done the announcement or whatever, and I didn't watch it. That's an hour before us. Luckily.
Hey, what?
I just saw that. No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't watch it. I just saw Kingpin just said. So basically, yeah, he done a breakdown. He said, basically, you're still on lockdown.
I'm not taking T-Jan's word for it. He's putting Dettol when his man them come. He's gonna be saying we're still on lockdown, even if Boris said leave. Yeah?
No, I don't think so. And I did see, and he's locked in. He just hit us up on a group chat saying he's locked in. So shout out Kingpin.
Shout out to Kingpin.
No, I see a couple people saying stuff about maybe by 1st of June, we'll be allowed to be outside as long as we socially, as long as we still social distance, we'll be allowed to go out for other purposes than or something like that. And maybe by earliest 1st of July, so another month on, to be able to, they might start opening primary schools and certain things.
Well, they're gonna open primary school just before summer.
Yeah, that'd be a bit pointless, isn't it?
That don't make no sense. Abby on mute.
Is she on mute? She is on mute, isn't it? All right, wait a sec. I gotta give you the superpowers again so you can mute and.
Yeah, Nova tried to mute me from the
No,
beginning.
I didn't. Do you know what? I didn't mute you, but I feel like maybe if you turn your camera off or you somehow there might be times that it mutes you by itself because I didn't mute you.
Okay.
But, you know.
Don't believe him, Abby, man.
But now you can unmute yourself. now you can do it yourself. It's calm.
So what's been going on with you lot, man?
Right, it was my birthday the other day, innit? So I just.
How was your birthday?
Happy belated.
So all right, but yeah, that we lost a legend, man. We lost a legend that day.
Yeah, that fucked me up, man. That messed me up. I wasn't ready for that, man.
So I don't know, obviously, I think that's just something, we'll talk about over a lot of the shows with different people that come on and stuff. But obviously it was my birthday, so I kind of was just zoning out, not really getting so involved on the socials and stuff like that. I've been meaning to write about it and I still haven't, you know what I'm saying? But
same, I couldn't even put up a status because it's like, right, these things here, it's just messed up. All three of the deaths during COVID that have been from the culture, like, man, they're messing with me, man. I don't like it.
Yeah. But yeah, man, Ty, innit? R.I.P. Ty, man. I didn't say his name just then, but like, I see something like, I see a thing with his family on yesterday on the news, and you know, there's a key point in that stood out to me. I wanted to say, but it's lost me now. But it like just the love that he received all over social media. Yeah, like as soon as I heard, like I saw it in a WhatsApp group, and then I was like, no, this can't be true. I went onto my Instagram and I said to myself, I said, I know I'm not going to see anything else on my timeline right now. And then within an hour, literally there was nothing else. And then I started seeing the reposts from like Talib Kweli and like big American
LP and
rappers and do you know what it was about the thing on ITV News with his family yesterday? Is it showed a picture or a clip of him with Maceo from De La Soul on Pyro. And I remember being there that day, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might be before he was on the show. So I remember me and you, we came in to do our show after him. So that was just a bit like, it touched me, you know? Like, I'm just seeing that on the news and being like, right, yeah, man was there that day, you know? And like, he's just a great guy.
Yeah, man. Like, I didn't really get to know him till very later, like till quite recent, like a few years ago.
Yeah, same, man, same.
Like just before the Pyro times, probably. And I bucked with him one time in the Black Cultural Archives in Bricky.
Yeah.
I was there for some next reason. He was there for some next reason. And I ended up sitting having coffee with him. But one of the things I've seen on my timeline, which I feel like I experienced that with him as well, he is always just encouraging people. Like, my man, if you're a younger rapper on this thing, no matter who you are, he's just giving you like motivational speeches, like telling you to stick with it, giving you advice. He's that type of older, you get me?
Of course. And you just see the love, man. And like, yeah, I met Ty like probably 20 years ago, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I only really got to know him over the last few years in this kind of social media era in recent years. And I've been kicking myself sitting here because me and Ty, like, we had a weird relationship in that we didn't agree on some things, and we're both very outspoken. So we had a couple of things we didn't agree on, but we very, very much both like respected each other's opinions and would still just challenge each other. Like, it's not like I completely don't agree with him. One of the issues would be like the kind of drill scene and violence in hip hop music and stuff. And it's not that we were at complete opposite spectrums. It's just that we had different kind of perspectives, and we both definitely respected that it needs to be a conversation. And I think another thing was Westwood. He was always, I was defending Westwood, and he'd always come at me if I was defending Westwood. And,
I can't lie. He put me onto some stuff about Westwood that was like,
And this is the thing. And this is the thing. Like, this is what I kicked myself about, because at one point, like, Ty inboxed me and was like, "Here's my number. Call me. Let's talk." And I didn't call him. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I would continue to engage. And at that point, it was on something we did agree with, which was more to do with like the whitewashing of UK hip hop stuff and all of that. Yeah. And then with Westwood, with the Westwood thing, I bumped into him after we'd had a conversation about it publicly online. I bumped into him and he was like, "Yo, look, come me and you just meet up and go for lunch, because there's things I would like to get across to you, like that, you know, forget coming on the show." Because I was always trying to get him on the show as well, and he never did it. A couple of times he'd be like, "Nah, I don't want to do it." He's worried, innit, whether we're going to get too controversial or whatever. But
yeah, that's that with him as well.
But he wanted to just link with me in private. And the last few times that I would see him, we'd always be like, "Yo, we got to link up. We got to do that. Yeah." So I'm kind of sat here just regretting that I didn't do that in a sense. But at the same time, I think like just having those conversations with him, I think I came around to some of the things he was saying anyway, like in that I was going at Westwood last week. And I think those conversations that I did have with Ty and some other people as well, definitely played a part in that. And the last time I spoke to Ty, which was online, was that he shared that he shared the article about that UK drill thing that I did on BBC Radio 4 about Heady One. And I don't know if he even knew I was in it. He just shared it. And then I think someone tagged me in it and I started discussing it. And I'd kind of come round to, you know, I'm very much like, I take a hard line in that discussion in defending the music. But he said, he shared that article and said, is this a conversation? And I came on that, and yeah, I think at some points I did shut down the conversation in trying to defend the music. And I came on that and I said, yeah, it is a conversation, you know, and we interacted a little bit about that. And then when I did my thing on Instagram, where I spoke about it in response to that documentary, like I tagged him and he was like, thank you for tagging me and stuff. But, you know, I knew he was interested in it. But, man, yeah, what a loss, man. And
he's like one of them elders, how elders should be.
Yeah.
Like, you know them ones. That's how they should be. The way, like, there's no creepy stories about my man, hating stories about my man. My man just showed love,
a lot of his era are not like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it is sad. I've seen a few people posting it. It is sad, like, to see the insane amount of love he's got right now, yeah? In that he was someone who felt like disheartened by the ways the scene had gone, ways his own music was received or not received in times, you know. So it is kind of sad, man. But I saw some great tributes.
Yeah, there were a lot of doors closed to him in a lot of ways. So I did understand his grievance. Even when I sat and talked to him, like, he broke stuff down to me in ways that I didn't see it from his perspective. So, like, yeah, he'll be missed. He was good people.
I think what I take from that in my thing is some of those conversations I'll talk about this more another time, but some of those debates we did agree on. I know there was a point where he wanted me to take a certain line and he expressed to me that he couldn't because he felt he'd alienate fans to do some of these race conversations. And I did the other week in the hip hop debates group, this happened. Someone posted a picture of, someone posted something saying, there was no UK hip hop before, it said there was no UK hip hop before Wiley. And then it said me, and then it had a picture of Task Force. And I was just like, yo, I was like, that's kind of racist, nah? You know what I'm saying? Like in the thing, and then people was coming at me. I was like, yo, we can't just like wipe up what you're gonna say, like two white dons invented like British hip hop and that, like that's a bit mad. And I was thinking of conversations I'd had with Ty where he literally said that, you know, it become like that. He literally talked about it becoming like that. And
but even with Ty, I remember he was talking about like promoters.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like money as well.
I remember when I spoke to Ty, him saying to me, just because I mentioned Task Force, him telling me that he felt Chester was, because he was talking about a lot of white rappers are not ready for the conversation, and he said that he felt Chester was one that was. So I was literally telling the shoot, yo, there's like black rappers who've been here from before, and you know, who have expressed this to me. So this is why I'm telling you this, because the you posted the picture got his back up, innit?
Yeah.
And I was literally speaking from the conversations I'd had with Ty, this is before he passed, just telling him like, yo, because I felt like I knew Ty kind of was trying to say to me, like, you gotta kind of try and have this conversation, innit? So I think whenever I do that in the future, I'm gonna think of, man, you know?
Yeah, and especially because he's the type of guy that was always backing new talent. He's the type of guy that can be pissed when he's not recognized, because he's always backing new talent. The amount of rappers on my timeline that had a story about Ty showing them some love, giving them some support, boosting their career without any benefit to himself.
Yeah.
My whole timeline since he passed. That's basically what I've been seeing.
Really, we could have done it. We could have actually just done a whole show on Ty and got people to come talk about him. I'm sure we, like I said, I'm sure we will as time as shows continue.
People, he just passed.
A lot, man. No, I know. But I'm saying I'm sure we will when people come on, like, naturally. Do you know what I mean? Like, over the.
I ain't even wrote that.
No, I haven't. I still ain't wrote it. Basically, I've been meaning to write one just telling that story, you know, and I'll probably do that, you know, now that I've said it there. I'll probably do that, man. Do you know what I mean? But R.I.P., man.
R.I.P., man. Rest in power, my brother. All right, so what we're gonna be discussing snitches now, yeah.
Snitches has been the kind of the forced debate of the moment because of 6ix9ine coming out of jail and blowing up the internet. It's just that it's what people are talking about.
All right, it's my home timeline. Yeah, for real. Like,
I didn't want to make it all about 6ix9ine, but obviously, like it opens a wider conversation, innit? But obviously, the 6ix9ine thing is interesting as hell.
Oh yeah, that's the whole story is fascinating. The fact that he landed and has got success again straight away. It's one of them ones. That's what people were saying was going to happen.
Not just success. Like he came out openly said, "Yeah, I snitched." Like on a song. Okay, so there's two things he's done. One song, which I think is on like 70 million views now, and it broke the record for the highest views for a hip hop record in a day. Beat Eminem.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's that, and then there's
it didn't just beat Eminem. It duppied like it
was him. Like it was way more like, and also
he broke Tory Lanez live as well.
Yeah, I'm saying that record as well. So that he got 2 million viewers on a Insta Live, which Tory Lanez, if that I didn't realize that was who it was, but the last one was only like 400 and something thousand. So he like duppied that record as well, and he was only on there for 10 minutes. It's not like man. It's not like man was on there for an hour with bare girls twerking and that.
It went up radio. He was there. He got free real quick late radio.
Oh man! And then in the song he says, "Yeah, who writing came home to a big bag." Like it's a lot, man. Like people know anyway. Like I was a big fan of 6ix9ine. You know what I'm saying? I really rooted for my guy, like before when everybody was hating him, yeah. You know, even when the whole snitching thing was going on, when they're like, 6ix9ine snitch, I was like, show me, prove it. Even when like these pictures was coming out behind me, I'm like, prove it. I don't see it.
You were like,
snitch until the audio tape came out. I was not believing it.
And now how do you feel about 6ix9ine then, Nova?
Well, I'm conflicted, you know what I'm saying? But like, no snitching, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't get down with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't.
Also, you know what? The way he snitched as well, like,
yeah.
It wasn't like he didn't go out with these guys. He got these guys to co-sign him on some rap career thing, and then got them to do bad dirt for him. And
yeah, I see people saying it like that. I see people saying it like that. I wasn't looking at it like that before. Because I was looking at it like, what's 6ix9ine actually done? He shouldn't really be going to jail anyway, or not for a long time, yeah, at first.
Them investigating rappers is a madness. Even Bobby Schmurder's conspiracy case.
Bro. Yeah, like you can't go, like, when they send people to jail for a conspiracy or for like racketeering, which is like a group activity that maybe you didn't individually do, I'm kind of like, yo, he's not the ringleader of this. Yeah, that's how I felt about it. But then when I looked at, okay, there's certain shootings and stuff like that, and then I look at what's his name, the Tiger King dude, Joe. Yeah, because even his sentence is insane to me. But I'm like, yo, if my man can get a sentence like that for, attempting to hire to kill someone, if that's the kind of sentence that they do, but it sounds mad to me. Like, I don't feel like his sentence should be that either. I don't think 6ix9ine's sentence should be that high. So I don't feel like he should need to snitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should be able to just go, right, I didn't really do these things. I was kind of caught up in it and do his little time. But I don't know why he did it. Did he do it out of complete vengeance? Because he'd fallen out with them by then.
Do you know what, though? When he did the Breakfast Club interview and he was like, I don't fear nothing in life but the feds. Yeah. That's why he did it. The man just didn't want to go to jail for very long. He just got involved with like organized crime to blow up in rap. The investigation was mad easy. It seems like they had bare snitches and him. And so he was like, I'm not going to jail.
But it seems like he's now openly saying that he's not a gangster anymore. He said it in the live. Like he goes, yeah, when I linked up with them, I was like, yeah, I'm not a gangster or nothing, but I know how to get us out the hood. Like let's work together, kind of thing. Like that was.
That's even So he went and sold them a dream and got them all nicked.
But did he get them all nicked?
Well, yeah, because you just told me I know how to get us out the hood. That's why he was all.
Yeah, but they all done crimes, innit?
But it's like not really. We don't know what they were convicted with.
Yeah, for real. If they're being charged in the same way I'm saying he shouldn't have been, unless it's the actual shooters or the people who gave a direct kind of made something happen specifically, which people are saying he did with some of them. So then, yeah, like it's wild. I can't sit here like it's okay if man's gonna do 25 plus years, and because he said that. But I did like when I did watch his live explaining himself, I did kind of pause for a second when he was kind of explaining like, yo, what I'm supposed to keep a street code to these people, and then listing off the things that they had done to him, which if we're being real, like those are street codes too. What?
But then you gotta get them back. You're like,
that's not the way to get them back. That's not the acceptable way.
Police can't be your solution. That's the whole point. Like, because police are your enemy now.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, if he was completely innocent, say like he fully weren't involved, yeah. Freedom and them. Cheese. Yes. Hey, I'll say this, yeah. Say he's completely innocent and he actually didn't do nothing, yeah. He's just there fronting, and these guys are around him looking after him, but he didn't actually do none of the crimes. And then he's already fallen out of him because they've already snaked him, they've robbed him, they fucked his baby mom, they've set up his mom, all of this stuff, yeah. Then they all get arrested. And he's innocent, and they're sitting there going, we're going to send you to jail for 25 years for these crimes that these men done. These men who snaked you. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted to what I'm saying, yeah? No snitching, innit? I'm just being a devil's advocate.
No, and I'm hearing you on the devil's advocate, but what I'm saying is, yeah, if they did them things to you after you went to them and was like, listen, I know how to get us out the hood, then, you know, that's something you chose, innit?
Nah.
He chose that life, man. He chose to ride with a bunch.
No, yeah, you chose that life, but not like, just because you went to them, like.
Well, what did you expect? You expected them to not commit crime against you. You go to a bunch of organized criminals, and you expect them to commit no crime against you on this hustle up.
No, that's victim blaming. Saying you went there because you wore a short skirt and that. You wore a short skirt around gangsters.
Right, bro. They're putting in work for him. Like, that's what happened at Death Row as well. They had bare killers around them. They had bare gangsters, and they were violating rappers. And then, but police didn't get.
But they're doing that on their own back as well because it's their investment. Do you know what I'm saying?
But police didn't get involved at Death Row like that because man, them knew we had signed up for this. We knew who we was going to be around.
Yeah.
You gotta either do it yourself or let it go.
Yeah, you gotta let it go. That's my thing. You gotta let it go, but it is a bit peak. Like I see just a lot of people like, boom, Bobby Shmurda. They're just like, yo, when Bobby Shmurda come home, like the real king of New York.
I'll be back one sec.
What B just done it? Yeah. What are you saying, Abby? You've been quiet anyway.
Yeah, I'm just listening to you lot go back and forth in it. So,
well, he's gone. So how do you feel about it all?
One sec. What, snitching?
Well, 6ix9ine. We'll get into the snitching.
You know how I feel about 6ix9ine anyway. I'm not really a fan. Like, not really.
Did we discuss this before on our old show? I feel like we did, didn't it?
Did discuss it. And I know you was very defensive.
I used to rinse him, innit? When we had the daytime show with I don't know. I just think it's that whole, I don't know, that whole game, that whole industry, that whole lifestyle. People kind of get wrapped up in stuff that sometimes they're conscious of, sometimes they're not. And sometimes like people are selfish at the end of the day. And if they need to, if it's about them and they need to get themselves out of trouble, they're not thinking about nobody else. Do you see what I mean? But how many, there's loads of people that do that shit though. I think because he's obviously in the public eye and he's a rapper and he's this, that, and the other, it's highlighted more because he went to jail and now he's come out and he's obviously put what he's put on his tracks. Did that live, which I didn't see. But yeah, it's just like it's like he's, I done it and just rubbing it in people's face. You just don't care. So that's what's going to piss people off.
And obviously, a lot of people feel strongly about Snitching.
Yeah.
Does it bother me personally? No, because he's not in my life. It's not affecting me or the people around me. But obviously, in the industry, in his circle, you know, it's not really going to do him any favors. So
yeah, 100%.
It's not going to do him any favors. So will his career be as high and as peak as it was before, or will it?
Well, it's already bigger. It's already bigger because he just broke all these records.
It's bigger, but is it bigger, or is it just it's the publicity? It's the whole hype around what he's saying in the track. It's not even about his music. It's about
he's just a character though. Like he already got given like some multi-million record deal before this song. You know what though? We've got hundreds of comments coming through that we didn't realize were there, and people are hitting me up saying they want to join us. Like, so one sec. Let me just work. Let's just read these comments out quickly, and some of them are from what we were talking about before. So first, Warren Temple just saying good evening, Flip Life gang, and obviously a few comments about Ty. I guess none of this makes sense. Oh no. I guess it's to do with this one's to do with Boris Johnson. Go to work because we can't pay you anymore, but don't catch a bus or train. Mixed messages. Right, they're telling people to go back to work, yeah? Prince Kong is locked in, looking forward to seeing Mrisi drop his new bits. R.I.P. Ty. Another comment from Prophet Victory. Talking about Johnson is ambitious to have some shops and schools open from June. Fam, how is your economic ambition in any way important? Backwards economics can't fight a virus. Comment from Danny Bones, aka Idhan. Ty heard one of my first ever music videos and showed me love. Afterwards, he encouraged me at every opportunity. He gave me little gems of advice, and I've never forgotten it. Since his passing, I've heard countless stories of him doing the same for other young artists. A true legend of UK hip hop. Yeah, and do you know what? I noticed him do that with Bones. And like Bones obviously being someone close to me who was like coming up and knew in that kind of within that specific circle. So like I remember noticing that and thinking, right, yeah, that's dope. Like, you know, and me appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
even remember when April came on our show and was just talking about how she asked Ty to do her video. And,
yeah. I know, man. I see her. She wrote a really heartwarming tribute the other day as well, man.
He was just that type of dude you could approach him and he would holler at you and tell you, keep doing.
Right, Prince Kong has got a bunch of comments going off now about. He says, "Sorry, but Big Ben is right. He ain't no victim. He's manipulated everything to his own advantage." He said, "I want to hear Abby's opinion," which we've got to since I think he chose that life. He's an adult. He weren't no dumb kid. He used them. Sorry, guys, I feel strongly on this subject. Yeah, and we've got one more comment. From Ob Ron Tyan. I think if you join a gang of your own free will, you must adhere to rules of the organization that you have signed to, especially in the case of 6ix9ine, because he chose to find them. All right, I'm gonna post this. I'm posting the link.
Bones also said, yeah, he didn't snitch on the people who did him something. He snitched on the people who are his genuine friends and people who aren't even associated with.
Oh yeah. Also, like, yeah, Bones said that online yesterday as well. But yeah, he snitched on other people on top of that. Like, remember they were saying he snitched on Cardi B and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they said he snitched on Jim Jones and Cardi B.
Everyone.
You know what, though? One of his boys though, who went to go and do the shooting for Chief Keef. My man wasn't even in that gang. He was like a blood from New York. He just got called by 6ix9ine to do the shooting, and then my man, he's in jail for that. So that's not, that guy didn't sleep with his girl, they didn't kidnap him. That's just his brethren.
Right.
Well, there you go.
By his own rules, he broke his own rules because he's like,
what time's Mrisi joining us? Cut the grasses. Yo, P. P's trying to compete with my backgrounds, isn't it? He's bringing a theme. Man came with a theme. I like your theme still.
just discreetly get that in there.
All right. Prince Kong saying he'll jump in as well. Do you know what? I want to let him jump in towards further on as well, 100%. But I'm just waiting because someone else is about to jump in. Let's not do everyone at the same time. But when is Mrisi joining us soon?
Right, you know what? I ain't even sent him the link.
You mad man. Cool. But just to, I mean, so I opened up the debate on a further thing and just asked today, like, is no snitching realistic? Because I think on a bigger scheme of things, like, there's a whole conversation about snitching. I've always, like myself, I've been raised in a no snitching culture, and I stand by that passionately. Like I see Prince Kong does. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's certain like situations where I don't think it makes sense. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes people do use it. People use it in a way that people who don't understand try and use it for their own reasons. And this is what I cussed at the people that come in at 6ix9ine a little bit. And I don't want nobody to get confused as 6ix9ine support. You know what I'm saying? Because no snitching. But anyway, like what I'm saying is these man jumping on, and 6ix9ine said this in his thing. He said, "You lot didn't like me. You was like this guy with the rainbow hair. I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him." And then, but you didn't, so you was just writing that online, but you didn't have nothing to say about it yet. Mrisi's there ready to come in. I'm going to let him in 1 sec. And then, now you got something to hate me, because now you're like, oh, he's all right. You got a reason to say it. And I said this before, when people were pulling up 6ix9ine about some other shit that they didn't really know. It's like, you don't really care about that. Because why aren't you going at the next man who's done that? Do you know what I'm saying? Why ain't your timeline full of talking about snitches? Do you know what I'm saying? And then a man commented on my thing that cracked me up. I need to find it, where he was like, yo, 98% of people that wish death on snitches on the internet call the cops when their bike gets stolen. You know what I'm saying? And then he wrote another one underneath, under it. He was like, yeah, 96% of people that wish death on snitches on the internet call the police on their neighbor when there's an argument about the hedge. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but you know what? The neighbor one is a good analogy, but the other one, that's different. That's just a civilian. That's the only recourse they got. But if you're like at work and you tell the boss on your co-workers, then you're a snitch. That's you know what I'm saying? That's if you're at school and you're like, "Miss, she was talking." That's like we're all in the class together. I think you allow it. You know what I'm saying? You're riding on your colleagues, like people you're in business with, people you're working with, people on your level. You lot are together. You're not supposed to be turning on them. And if they do turn on you, you must deal with it yourself. You can't go to the state, can't go to the government, like, oh, the government's going to solve my problems with the man them.
Yeah.
However, I kind of do respect, This is one of the things, it's a funny thing though, but there's other snitches in rap. And we don't really know who they are. But these times here, he's there. I'm a snitch. I'm rapping. He's like, at least.
Well, everyone says 50 Cent is a snitch, and I see 50 Cent pretty much backing him yesterday. Like, I watched the interview with 50 where he's kind of like, yeah, well, you know, like, I don't want to misquote him. Do you know what I'm saying? All right, though, we've opened the debate. I think let's let Mrisi in and chat to him, and we'll get back to this conversation on the other side, because there's a lot of. This show might go on a little minute because I got a lot of comments to read out and shit, and a couple people want to join.
Your Prince Kong been getting active. Shout out to man like Ty.
So we're letting Mrisi in, man. Let's see. Unmute.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, man got the purple background. I should have done it in the other room.
Oh yeah, you got the same color, haven't you?
I told you, MMW Studios.
Mola.
Looking good, man. What's going on, brother?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, man. We're just here, man. How are you finding the whole lockdown situation and all of that?
Yes, all right, man. It's wait 1 second. I think there's some feedback or something. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's been all right, man. It's been good.
This reminds me of the Teddy Riley battle.
Getting with things and that. Just make music, keep working. Doing online stuff, online like Zoom sessions to work, and you know, just making music really.
Yeah.
Thanks for
I'm trying to get to that, man. I ain't been making no music. That's one thing I haven't really been doing. Tiny bit, what? No.
I hear that. Let me just quickly. Just want to show the viewers.
Yeah.
Let me just promote the thing. So this is the studio. It's Mrisi MMW Studios on Instagram. check it out.
It's a bit blurred though. But yeah,
Can't
make
see
sure.
it. All right, no, so it's Mrisi MMW Studios, Mrisi MMW Studios.
Prince Kong is saying that we can't hear you. I can hear you a rap, but it is a little quiet.
All right,
Yeah.
1 second. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's louder.
Cool,
I'm gonna
cool.
see if see what he says on the comment.
Yeah, that's better for me.
But yeah, man.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I can hear you. Yeah, man.
So how's your land doing back home?
Man, it's sitting there for now. It just needs a fence. I've got a bar about it actually. I've got a bar. So
all right.
We're in
I'm
the
feeling that new song still.
Huh?
I'm feeling West Baby. It's dope.
Yeah, safe, bro. Safe. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess talk to us about that, man. Talk to us about the new single, Complex. It was Complex that premiered it.
Yeah.
So talk to us about
Complex UK. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's just basically it's a song. It's about just kind of the being English and South African, you know, and the kind of idea around West Baby was that you kind of talk about in South Africa, it's like you're an English baby or American. You know, it's that you're being if you're somewhere. Let me clarify what I'm saying. When you're of two parentage, or even if you're not, if you're grown up in a place and your identity is from somewhere else, oftentimes, obviously, because you don't identify culturally in that way with that country, like Americans. I don't know, there's little things. Americans can play basketball generally better than English people because they're raised that way. Do you get what I mean? So it's like these.
Shout out to Lawal Deng though.
Say that again.
Shout out to man like Deng.
Deng.
That's man from London. That's in the NBA. Don't watch that.
NBA or not.
You should know the surname Deng though. They're infamous. Trust me. There's a lot.
So where's he from?
They're from Sudan, I think.
Okay, yeah, of course, that makes sense.
They're dark, so I assume.
Yeah. No, West Baby is basically that concept of like it being you're from somewhere else, but it's like you're a West Baby. But obviously you bring some of those things from that culture into your culture, and that's kind of what I'm exploring on the track. And also the fact that obviously the West is where the West is fucked everywhere else, but all of we all in our own way have that connection to it, but in our own Western way. You get what I mean? But that's for everybody. That's wherever you are. If you're not, if you have part of you that's not from here, if you're from Indian community, you're also a West Baby because there are things that your parents might not.
Do you get that in Egypt, Abby?
Hold on, sorry, I had to unmute myself. Yeah, like they can tell, like in Egypt, when I'm there, even though I might speak the language, I'll speak Arabic and stuff, they can still tell from there. Yeah. Like just by how I am, just by the way I dress, just by my mannerisms and everything, they can tell immediately. So even though I know the culture and I speak the language and I can get around, I'm still like a black sheep, if that makes sense, kind of.
Inside, outside, within kind of thing.
Yeah, like I just feel like, not that I don't fit in, but obviously I'm very westernized. I was born over here. Most of my family like born and raised over there, so there's a difference. So yeah, I can totally identify with that. It makes sense. So yeah.
Same. And South Africa
terminology
as well, and they're harsh with it. I take it personal, but I realize it's a banter thing. They still love you, but it's just they were, boy, hey, this English boy, he don't even know how to do this. I'm like, bro, of course I don't. I ain't never done it before.
Do you know what I mean? I wasn't. Especially when you go to the rural areas, because even within South Africa, like I've noticed that you've got, and it's a similar thing, like the division between the city and the country lifestyle. You get it in England where people from the city, in South Africa, it's often that people go from the city, they work there most of the year, then Christmas time, go back home, go back to the north or to the country or wherever, and then it's like you've got that same divide there now, West Babies within South Africa. because even South Africa as a country is unique in that way that it's very, very, very westernized. And it kind of filters through the culture. As a general rule, I would like generally throughout South Africa has been very westernized, even the country. But yeah, that's kind of the main concept is like, yeah, that West.
I think I felt it like listening to it. I felt everything you're kind of describing. I took that from the song, and the message got across very clearly. But what I really like about it is it's still like a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of songs when you're going into something that's quite deep or some a concept like that, there's no vibes in them. You know what I'm saying? Is that something important or intentional when you're?
Nah, you know what? For me, like in terms of vibes, and it's another thing conceptually of the West Baby as well. Like I wanted to put in the fact where you can still, something doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to necessarily be. I mean, the song is about drinking, and it's not about it, but I do mention drinking and smoking, but it's not, you know, I say in the West maybe, not me, even though I am a West baby, living in this Babylon, you know, it gets crazy. That's why we burn herbs and we get wavy. So it's got that bounce to it. But that bounce was kind of meant to have that, it's like the party vibe, you know what I mean? You know, in African music and in a lot of music that isn't Western music, you find like, not in this respect, but the music is often very fast, upbeat. Even the chord sequences, you know, you'll have more major chords, the minor chords oftentimes. And to the ear, those songs sound like very happy, upbeat songs, especially in South African music. I mean, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but I know that this is very similar amongst Africa a lot. But these are songs about sorrow, like real sad things, you know, like real horrible things. But if you hear it from an outsider, if you don't understand the language, you wouldn't know. But you like, those songs are also danceable. So it's like they're not exclusive things to be able to vibe to a tune, but also to be able to get a message. And that's what I'm kind of trying to explore now, because Zone Out, I didn't do it too much. There wasn't so much of a subject to it. It was more like a hip hop kind of tune, I would have said. But from now, that's like my thing. It's like, how do I make music that has a real message to it, but have it completely danceable? And not, you know, like even with that flow, like it reminded me of one of them. It's like a real old school, like maybe Atlanta flow or something like that, but it's a bouncy one. It's not something that you normally associate with conscious rap, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the kind of avenues I'm trying to explore, like auditory as well. You get?
Yeah, dope, man. Yeah, man. It really came across, man. So where can people let the people know where they can find the song and find?
So, yeah, it's on all platforms. So if you just search my name, Mrisi, or you search West Baby, or actually search both, because West Baby will come up with a lot, mainly Kanye West kids. As I noticed from the hashtag, if you hashtag West Baby, a lot of it's just Kanye West kids.
North in Chicago, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. East South. Yeah, so yeah, West Baby is there on the search engines and stuff. So yeah, just search Mrisi, or go onto my Instagram at Mrisi Music, Facebook at Mrisi Music.
Dope, man.
Mrisi Music, yeah.
So go on, mate. No, you go.
How you feel about snitching?
Yeah, I was gonna go to that.
You know what? I was thinking about this because obviously I don't like. I'm like, you know, I'm trying to say no snitching and that, but you know, it's not. I think basically with 6ix9ine's situation, I see what Ben's saying about it, not kind of like he was responsible, and I understand, you know, the victim blaming aspect of it, but I'd also look at the gang. It was the Treyway Bloods, or the Treyway Blood. Yeah. You can't invite somebody like that into your organization without kind of, you know, why would you bring a kid like that off the street and expose him to all your goings on?
Yeah,
that's what get snitched on. Like it's and also it's like as well, 6ix9ine himself could be a snitch. You know, it wouldn't. Sorry, not a snitch, a police. It wouldn't be uncommon. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he himself is actually an agent that's been trained to go and rap and trained to do music. and is being ghostwritten for, like happens in the industry anyway. Like it wouldn't surprise me if he's actually a snitch. In terms of snitching in general, he's actually a Fed. In terms of snitching in general, I would say that I don't actually like. I think people are getting too worked up on it because a lot of the time, you know, with these criminal organizations, as everybody knows, is that they all work with the police on all different kinds of level of crime, whether that be street crime or
That's a good point.
Organized
Yeah,
crime.
that's true.
You know, and that I like, to be honest, in really deep street culture, there's no rules to anything. I don't think any, like they say, honor amongst thieves, but I don't know about all that. I don't think it's like, and especially when it comes to snitches, because at some point, a lot of people work with the police. Like it's a fact, whether it be on like a kid getting, I don't know, some weed snatched for him, and then the police are corrupt. They go and get him to do stuff, you know, or if it's a big, I just think that there's so much of it going on anyway. It's the criminal world. Police are criminals, as are people are criminals. But yeah, in this guy's respect, I reckon he's probably actually a police. There was an example in North London. You guys might know about this, but they some people, these police created a youth club and got a lot of guys nicked around the grime era time, the early grime era time.
Okay.
But they created a youth club. They created a whole, like, they created a youth club. They taught these police how to rap and all this kind of stuff, and got these kids and trapped them basically. Started off with little bits, getting them little bits of weed or whatever, and then all the way into bigger, you know, guns, things like that. And that was in England. So in America, when you're dealing with people that are at this high of a thing, you know, he has influence. People like a 6ix9ine back in the day is a Jay-Z today. And this is why you know, the police also killed Nipsey Hussle, because it's the same thing. These people have so much money and can have so much influence over young people that they're now, it's like, it's a big thing. You know, when you talk about art and police and the government and stuff, like, there's a really famous picture from the New York, and I can never remember what this is, but it's basically like, if you're into art, you'll know it. It's like a blob of orange, and it goes from lighter to darker, of orange color.
Okay.
And it's a big New York art piece, and it was patterned by the CIA because at that time they wanted to make America the cultural capital, because at the time it was in Paris. So they patterned these people. They gave them their money to be able to create these pieces of art. So then the art culture shifted from Paris to New York. You know, so these people have always been in the arts. You know, I'm sure even in our hip hop community, there are people that are police undercover and all these things. You know,
For sure. Even like what you're saying in London, they've like shipped gangsters over from America, from LA, and from Jamaica to like when there's not enough crime to
of course,
to get the crime popping in certain ends. One of the reasons that blood started kicking off in South was because they got some blood from America. The police paid for him to come down to South.
He went to youth clubs as well, innit? He was a youth worker.
Yeah. Youth worker. And the police, and my man had just bust a murder before that. Like, he just, you know what I'm saying? Like, probably.
And he's in London, and you know, they're letting him.
They say that about Haitian Jack as well. Haitian Jack was out here killing people and then snitching on other people. So it's like,
going back to mentioning Nipsey Hussle as well. I see Meek Mill tweeting. Well, Meek Mill was going off on 6ix9ine, and he was like, the guy who killed Nipsey was a snitch. Like, he wasn't. So he was on road because he snitched, didn't he? He really should be in jail. So he shouldn't have been able to do that. Or you're saying how this guy now is out here gonna be out here causing problems. He should be in jail. Basically, was his kind of angle.
But even that, I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the whole snitching thing. It's like you try to bring it. Nipsey was an influential person, you know, and it's not. I don't think that was.
I know that was your actual point. Yeah.
That was the police. Whether they got someone from his area to do it, whatever. I'm sure if you lead that back to whoever they got told to do it by, it's not some street level thing. Right?
All right, we got someone else potentially joining the conversation. Let me see. Is he gone? He's gone, man. I'm on. Here you come. Let's see if he's still here.
Well, go on.
Man, like Awate. What you saying, G? Can you hear us? Right, I can see, man, but I'm not hearing that, man. Is he working on his background? First person to train us with a background.
Rude boy.
I'm gonna go to some of the comments still because this has been guide off. Styler left a comment earlier actually.
What did he say?
I'm just gonna try and find it. He said, I think it's like this. If you choose to play football and find yourself 5-0 down, you don't just pick up the ball with your hands and try to change the rules of the game.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of him like going on to superstardom, but I think that's literally it.
That's my
really
question.
Most hip hop fans are not gangsters, and are not from any type of environment. Most hip hop fans aren't even like working class. It's like middle class white people are buying and consuming hip hop a lot, and these times here, they don't care that 6ix9ine snitched on anybody. They don't care that anyone snitched on anybody. They're not vexed at a snitch. A snitch ain't taking away no one from their ends. A snitch ain't caused no harm in their community. The police are not a problem for them. And sometimes we just don't like the police. Police be doing all sorts of madness where we're from, yeah. My brother Awate bust bare cases from the police. They try to do over just normal dudes in the end. And so when you're cooperating with them, it's more than just you're betraying your brethren. It's like, don't help them. We don't need to be helping them. They don't help us.
This is what I said still. I'm gonna have to find the comments because I said something similar to what you're talking about. So someone was just like, it's just criminals, and there was on an anti-criminal thing, something like that. I have to find it before I can really just misquote it. Man.
I don't know. Yeah, that's one of the issues. I know we're both, me and Mrisi are both from South Africa, and there used to be a lot of talking about informing to the apartheid government. I mean, it's how it works. They divide you. Also, this is another thing. A lot of people, because of their fear and all that, they tell, not knowing they could have bust case. They could have landed roll. They could have got sentence. The police didn't even have all their decks in a row. And so certain time, they're doing the work for the police. The police didn't know nothing. Scared them into telling them something, and now they know everything.
Yeah, it was Jacob. It was Jacob who's been on the show a number of times. He was almost on some pro. He said it depends on the victims. When I asked, is no snitching realistic? And he was saying if the victim of a crime is a multinational company, then Robin Hood rules apply. But other than that, if the crime is punching down and the victim is worse off than the perpetrator, then I have no qualms in giving evidence. So that's all. And then he went on.
Can we take Styler's comment and put it below Jacob's comment?
And then he went on to he went to say he's a big believer in social constructs, and if you want to live in society, you have to abide by these rules. And I don't think codes of silence have done anyone any good. I think they've done communities a disservice. They're often rooted in fear and submission rather than class solidarity too. And then I said to him, no snitching is a social construct as well, no? And then I said, the entire legal system is built to protect the most guilty. Oh yeah, because somewhere along the line he said it's only to protect guilty people. So I said the entire legal system is built to protect the most guilty and persecute those who are in difficult positions of circumstance created by the same system. It targets crime based on race, economic background, etc. So no snitching initially is about protecting victims of circumstance from a common guilty enemy.
But you know another thing about snitching as well that I've just been thinking about that's a bit like, if you know, we all know rap music. If 6ix9ine was to turn around now and be like, make a track, same views, whatever. Not after he snitched, before he snitched. He makes a track that blows up, but in this track he lists every single person that's done all these crimes, and it's a banger. You know how a lot of rappers do. They'll list, my man does this, my man does that, and they'll talk like that openly about all of their friends, whether it be with their real names or whether it be with their street names. They still say all this stuff. This one shot this one in this place. We did this together, whatever. If now all of these people get arrested based on this rapping, and I know people talk about dry snitching on themselves and that, but if it's your friends are getting arrested off the back of your tunes that are bangers, that are, you know, all of this kind of stuff, but they're getting people nicked, does that then make you a snitch as well? You know what I mean? I'm not backing.
Man do it to themselves as well, though. Man do that to themselves all the time as well when it comes to.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, but then does that also make you a? Because one thing that I noticed in rap, which is always funny to me, is that people that are actually criminals talk about their criminal activities. And I know we're all, you know, we're rappers, we all listen to it. But it's another one of these things that I just think, like, you know, this stuff is all snitching. It's all snitching.
I never.
You don't see that as snitching, Ben. It's snitching. If you're gonna go,
I get you, because in the Bobby Schmurder's case, where you say Mitch caught a body about a week ago, my man got nicked for a body. I was like, oh, that's close to the phone. But these times, Mitch is in jail for attempted murder or whatever. But these times, my man are just telling their story.
It's mostly man doing it to themselves.
They're not investigating no other art form. They're not investigating.
They're not investigating any other art
the
forms.
FBI got a whole force on hip hop. Like in Britain, we got like, do you know how many rappers are in jail? And they watching them,
bro.
No.
The way they are watching it right now, is insane.
But
like,
what I'm trying to say is, why don't
when Oasis was singing about burgling yards, yeah?
Of course, yeah.
Was singing, was that snitching?
Ben, listen, I'm on the same side. Listen, there's a band called The Killers. Do you think a rap group would ever be able to get called The Killers? Of course not. You know, I get what you're saying. It's fucking, yeah, do you know what I mean? It's a double standard, but at the same time, you look at it like this, how can us as a hip hop community, if we're that concerned about people snitching, then look, you know, it's I don't think it should be okay for people to talk that much criminal activity on their tracks. It doesn't make sense. I just, you know, from them coming from criminal aspects and points of view, why would you incriminate yourself like that? It doesn't seem smart to me. It doesn't even seem.
Who do you think?
But then we can't be policing that.
Who do you think should be able to stop them doing it?
No, I'm not saying the police should stop them. We as a community should stop these people from saying.
Nah.
Yeah, I see. What's a Rakim interview? Yeah, he was a serious guy back in the day in New York. He said, I never, you know, he's on the breakfast show and they say,
I see that.
I never talked about that stuff. And I respected him because he's saying, yeah, we did all that, but I never felt the need to. This is a wider conversation. I know I'm talking about, but it's like, at the same time, he made that point clear. It's like, why do I need to talk about the criminal stuff I'm doing? If I'm doing that, and if I'm making money from it, if I'm doing whatever, music is my primary goal. Why am I concentrating on the fucked up stuff that's going on? Rather than, you get what I'm saying? But it's also as well just it doesn't make sense to me, man.
You know what? It's easy. It's easy as well. You got to remember, it's easy. Also, there's bare like examples of people who have managed to become, who have used that narrative. Yeah. So you don't have to fill in any detail.
Most of the rappers that I listen to have done what I'm saying is stupid to do, but it's still something that I just still think like it's still something that amazes me.
Yeah. In the end, that's when you're a teenager. That's the dude getting the most gal, living the best life. Yeah. Dude who is out here on the roadside. So it's not even just in the music. Once we co-sign an artist, then the world co-signs. Once the hood co-signs artists, then the world co-signs artists. And to get that hood co-sign, certain time, you know,
talking about certain things.
That's what happens.
But there are exceptions. But this is
loads of them.
Yeah. Yo, what, man? You're just in the cut, yeah?
Yeah, man. I'm just in the cut. Drop COK. The top's up.
What are you saying, man?
Yeah, bro. Just on that point, blessings to everyone, by the way. Peace, peace, peace.
Wow,
Peace to
man.
everyone watching. Rest in peace to Ty. On the point you're on, there's the MF Doom line, isn't it? MF Doom chorus, rap snitches, telling on their business, seeing in court, they be their own star witness. Did you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here. Fuck around, get their whole label sent up for years. Like,
yeah,
it's criminal evidence, isn't it? That's a line from hip hop by Most Def, isn't it? Rappers.
yeah.
It's the beginning of the second verse. Starts off rappers prosecution evidence. So he says that it's just incriminating themselves.
I think it's just, but I just think that's really incriminating yourself. Like I'm watching the drill youths a lot at the moment. I start to really pay attention to them, and I'm realizing how much of them are going to jail, what they're going to jail for. Them youths are doing crime and actually broadcasting it themselves. Like they want to go to jail. So it's like this is part of their lifestyle.
No, I don't think anyone wants to go to jail. Other than okay, hold up. I mean, okay, I don't think any youths, are going who know about life, who actually understand the value of their life. No,
they don't understand that. Though. That's the point. They don't understand it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think they're going. Oh, I want to go to jail.
They don't want to, but they expect to.
Yeah, of course, I expected to. I still expect to. You get me? I'm preparing, like always. Your whole life you're preparing for it, especially growing up black, growing up in the estate, growing up whatever, but what it takes is, I'm not blaming them, but it takes a certain level of just using your creativity, to be able to use codes and use metaphors and tell stories and weave all these narratives together that still give you the image you want about yourself, that aren't necessarily I'm making up stories about fake people and whatever, right? But that can allow you to still express yourself in the exact same way you want to, but just isn't directly bait. Like the only things you're doing is just switching out the word kill or shank or whatever for the newest slang word. But
I like this. This is practical advice for the drill.
It's not meant to be. No, but what I'm saying is, like, to survive, there's no legal jobs for you. The unemployment market, the amount of a job application goes up in Costa, one job application, and 1,500 people apply for it. At Costa Coffee. So it's not sustainable. Capitalism isn't sustainable for people to be able to exist. For young people to be able to exist, you're supposed to be in jail. But there's something in black music, something innate in black music, being able to pass and being able to somehow, if you can, make a living while also speaking your truth. Talking about in blues, my baby did me wrong. That's not about no baby. That's about the boss. That's about whoever. It's the landlord. It's about the landowner. It's about the slave master. It's about the plantation owner. It's about whoever it is. You know what I mean? You're just using codes, and I think that's been lost in. There's no youth services. There's no. We're not being paid to go around and teach or just facilitate the learning of rap and the learning of writing songs and expressing yourself and being able to do it in a healthy way. They're not learning that. They're learning, listen to this beat, man's got a mic, we can record it and immediately put it on YouTube. We might blow because of that, because people can listen to it immediately. We might start doing shows. We've never worked on artist development. We don't even know how, we don't know how to code our shit.
I think that's the beauty of rap and hip hop culture as well, But
same, because I can't lie, me and Nova kind of started like that. We made a tape. Oh, man, listen. It was mad grimy, and we just started giving the tape out to man them in the ends. Like, we was like, oh, yeah, no, we made a tape. Yeah, take it. Like, it was just like, and it was like 2 songs on the tape, I think. I don't know. It was like, it was proper budget. And then that got us shows. That got us stuff. Like, it helped. Like, it worked.
Don't get me wrong. I'm
not. Now got internet. I don't really want that to stop. I don't want that to stop.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not against it, because it's the same discussion that people, like, I came up in the grime era, obviously, and people were like, it was the same thing. There were things happening on the street that were associated, you could say the music was a soundtrack of, but it's not as if that it wasn't a natural process of life. Like obviously these things, you know, it was a natural process in music as well. And I just think not so like you know, if we're moving the conversation to snitching, I just think that it's hip hop is all well and good. Grime, all hip hop has started in that way. Do you know what I mean? People talking about their experiences. But I just think that people should be more aware of how they incriminate themselves, because people are watching. You see it with So Solid, like the first court case.
Can I make an argument though? How can man them? All right, I just want to ask anybody here. Does any of you know any fake gangster rappers?
Yeah.
Do any of you?
Yeah.
So that have claimed to do things on their song.
100%. 100%.
Never
100%.
even been near.
100%.
Don't understand.
100%.
You know OC times up. You know the second verse of OC times up. Yeah, he literally just mentions. He talks about my man. All your stuff is researched and analyzed. Most of your stuff is fantasized. I'm fed up with the bull. Like I know you was at church with your moms, but you weren't shooting no one. Like these people exist.
Loads of them. But do you know how many rappers I thought were full-on fledged killers when I was young? I found out there's normal dudes on the ends and they rap, they hung around with some gangsters or whatever. So what I mean is, so then how can you now take a man's song and use it as evidence against man or investigate man based on it? It shouldn't be allowed. The fact that we're even discussing, maybe rapping snitching, that man shouldn't be allowed to investigate man's art.
Of course.
You know how many men are faking this funk?
Of course.
And then now we're saying, we're not about it on your songs because they can take it to court. What?
But they are doing it though.
We're not afforded the freedoms of
make me sick.
Citizens. We're not free to.
How many times they taking it to court, played a man's song but he was innocent? Do we even know that? You men are saying they're guilty, but how do you know they're guilty?
That's another reason why. That's another reason why I find it funny as well that people are surprised by 6ix9ine snitching, is because we noticed that there's so much fakery in it. So why would you be surprised that someone wouldn't go by the rules if everyone's fake anyway? You get what I mean?
Yeah, but do you know what? I felt like we was going off track a little bit, but I think that's the important part where this whole conversation really connects, is that, if people are going to be out here in the music faking this whole situation, and then it may lead to you being in a situation where now your life is being compromised and now you're snitching. You know what I'm saying? Not anybody specific, but that's what's happened to 6ix9ine. So it is political.
It's a difference between Tupac, I ain't a killer but don't push me, and 50, I'll kill you. I ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? There's a plausible deniability.
50 got bars. You can never pay the price for taking a man's life. I'm in debt to Christ because I did that twice. I'm nice. Now listen, man is like
50 is this is the thing.
Gangster rappers been admitting crime my whole childhood.
I know.
Right, though, coming away from 6ix9ine or whatever, that the broader conversation I've asked today is snitching realistic? Is no snitching realistic?
Yeah, but what if your family is at risk or your life's at risk and you've got to snitch to save yours and your people? Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Listen,
you're just gonna be
how many times
you can kill my family, I ain't snitching. You're not gonna do that. You're not doing it. So I think it depends on the situation and the circumstances.
You're right. No, because I know back in the day they was talking about some youth got killed in South Africa, but the police were threatening his mom. It was in the Winnie Mandela case, and that youth died, but he was snitching because his mom was being threatened. So it's a different kind of. That's not really snitching.
Oh, is that the case that kind of made everyone vilify Winnie Mandela? Really,
and she was innocent in that case as well, but that's not the narrative.
So it's not snitching because it's your family. Is that what you're saying?
Because the little boy, he was just a little kid in it, and they was threatening his mom, and he was just him and his mom. So he's like, it's a different case. It's not snitching like 6ix9ine did it. He's a grown man committing crime with grown men, and then just turn it.
crime, I think if you're involved in crime and then you go and snitch on people that you're involved in crime with, then I think that that's frowned upon, because it's like, but hold on, you weren't snitching when you was involved. You see what I mean? But if it's a case where, you know, you've been caught up in something that you didn't want to get caught up in, and you're in a situation where now, you know, your life's in danger, or your family's life is in danger, or whatever, your children, whatever, and you have to speak to authorities or talk up, then you have to, innit? You're not going to sit there and hesitate when lives are at danger. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to do that. So
I asked two further questions today, and there's so many comments. So one of them was, who does no snitching apply to? Because I think that's an important thing in a lot of the things being said there. And then also, are there some crimes that no snitching doesn't apply to?
Yeah.
Snitching applies to criminals.
Well, okay, the criminals, that's such a terrible liberal term that is loaded and doesn't actually have a definition, right? What is a criminal? Okay, you do whatever, you make an infraction, you accidentally don't tap on the bus, okay? And then later on, they try bringing you off and they got dogs outside and they're like, oh, you didn't pay. You're a criminal right there, yeah? It's like, let's not talk about crime and criminals. Let's
crime, I'm talking about pre-planned, like calculated crime.
Yeah, pre-planned, like I needed food, wagwan.
No, but
saying if you're in VEED, you shouldn't grass up on the other man that needed food too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
that's her point. Yeah.
Okay. What about if you're a shop owner?
What about
and someone just took food?
You're not a snitch then.
Yeah, you're taking food from my shop. What are you doing?
What are you going to deal with it yourself, or are you going to call Fed?
No, I'll deal with it myself. And if it gets to my hand and I need help, then I'm going to call for help.
That's why the question comes. That's why the question isn't realistic. That's why I asked it like that. There's so many different things.
This is a question I posed to you guys. Yeah. A bouncer snitches. I mean, it depends how you view bouncers, but a bouncer snitches.
Or
it depends.
Like, is a bouncer. So if you're in a club, you have a fight, whatever, something happens, you get a bouncer does his job, takes you out the club, but he gets you arrested in the process. Out of when that guy is not a bouncer, is he still a snitch?
No, he's doing his job.
It depends, because back in the day, I had a fight with these bouncers, yeah, and they must have called the ambulance for man before the fight started. Like, they was like, yeah, that's for you.
No.
Anybody who crosses this line, you get me? It was a big fucking scuffle or whatever. But if them man call police on me after that, them man are snitching.
Yeah, but check this, bouncers again, bouncers is like, say you ain't done nothing wrong, because bouncers are dickhead. Say a bouncer fucks you up. They're supposed to be doing their job protecting everyone, and they fuck you up. Are you a snitch for calling the police on a bouncer? Or calling the snitch, calling the police on the police? You know what I'm saying? Someone who's actually there. You know what I'm saying?
Nova, good luck with that.
Yeah, you ain't gonna go nowhere. Of course not. Of course not.
Let's just say, I have brought
one time.
to this discussion. Man has brought this book. You see this? Untouchables.
Untouchables. Yeah, 100%. But I'm saying in theory,
Fed on Fed and see what will happen. Yeah. So I think technically, legally, I think a bouncer would fall under the classification as a designated person. The same as a PCSO, possibly the same as a screw, where if they're on the property, if they're on like HMP or some private circle G4S property, I think they'd be a designated person, where they're basically a civilian, not with the power of arrest, but in certain circumstances, the power to detain and whatever. So that makes them on a higher accountability and a higher scumbag level as just normal people just doing their jobs, teachers, bin men, musicians, whatever, yeah? From their job, yeah? So yeah, I think because they have that means that you got to hold them to a higher standard. And a lot of them, you give them power, you give a human being power, what happens? Doesn't go well. Power corrupts.
I agree with Abby though. If you're like involved, then you shouldn't. But if you're just a citizen living your life, then you can call police. Police are there. That's your only recourse.
No.
Except in situations where people call Fed on their own family, and then police have killed their sons. Police have killed their brothers.
I was gonna say that.
They've had like mental health difficulties or something, and they've just murdered them in the yard.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just like they're just not the people to help. They're not trying to. They're not really. You know, they're not going to help most of the time.
They only offer prosecutions, not solutions. So like that's times when police are brought in for crime. They come in after the crime's already done. I'm like, they can't solve it. They're just there to come and investigate.
No,
it.
Police imagine
try and get some arrests.
They always escalate. But I've never been in a situation where police ain't escalated.
No, I remember my first interaction with police actually was my dad was helping a policeman who was trying to get a guy who'd robbed somebody, right? So he's there, he's trying to, because this policeman was getting beat up. So my dad held the policeman. When the other policemen came, they had my dad down in his face like that in the ground when I was a youth. And this was my first ever experience with police, because they thought that he was the thief and that he'd done so, that the police was trying to fight him, when he was actually the one trying to help the policeman.
Was your dad born here or born overseas?
Overseas.
Okay.
You see what?
Baby.
You see what? That's basically what I mean. Also, sometimes you think you're helping them and you're just hurting yourself. Oh, yeah, I know for a fact, a friend of mine, these guys did a jewelry heist or whatever, and then two of his co-defendants, they snitched on him, and then he defended himself and got like a lower charge, and he got it down to theft. They were charged with armed robbery, pleaded guilty. He got a charge of theft. He's like, we just went in there and broke stuff. We didn't have any weapons to hurt anybody. And got the charge all the way down, and he got out in like 3 months. And then man got years. And it's like, you're harming yourself sometimes. You don't even know what you're doing. Like, don't be grassing on your friends and your colleagues.
No, man. All of I mean, you know, that's one thing plainly, is that it's a thing about honor as well, is that you just don't. If you're, you know, even if you're in crime and you're, you know, I mean, if you do something with somebody that is meant to be your friend, and when it hits the fan, you tell on it.
Unless you're police. Police should be grassing on each other.
Yeah, oh well, yeah, 100%. But yeah, if you're just you and your friend go and do something and then you grass up your friend, that's not.
They're the only ones that don't. Everyone else be grassing on each other except the police.
Yeah, police don't grass on each other. They got to say that's a mad part of the conversation of the police. Really live by no snitching culture. It's mad.
It's true.
We got Prince Kong in the building as well. He just told me he was shouting at his screen. So
yes, bro.
What's happening?
Jeez, long time. What you saying?
This whole like 6ix9ine, Snitch9 fucking conversation's got me like, it's got me involved because I feel real strongly about this whole subject. Like, it's not rocket science, yeah. If you're a criminal and you choose to, I'm not talking forgetting to tap your fucking card on the bus. Yeah? Let's not use the word criminal. Let's use a gang affiliated. Yeah, if you're gang affiliated. Yeah, then you have chosen to live a certain fucking life. Right? You've chosen to live a life with all the shit that comes with it. You've chosen to poke that guy with a knife. You've chosen to cop one yourself. You can't start blurring the lines, right? You're either a civilian or you're a fucking gangster. You're not a bit of both. So the way I see it is that it's not a crime, yeah? It's not a crime, it's the person that's snitching, it's the life they live. If you're, and like Ben said, yeah, was it Ben that said it? Fucking, oh no, you're saying Bones said it, yeah? He actively sought that life out. He wasn't like some vulnerable kid that like got involved with his older brother's friends. He started to blow up on SoundCloud. and thought, I want the clout of these guys. And he approached them and said, I can help you eat if you back me and give me credibility. He used them. He manipulated them for what he wanted. And then as soon as the shit hit the fan...
That's why he's probably police. He's actually a policeman. Do you know what I mean?
Do you remember when he went to Chicago? He went on this tour. He went LA, he went Chicago, he went Atlanta, and was just like, yo, I'm posting up on your block. No security, no nothing, no one.
That's my gangster. Fucking...
And the whole Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. The police thing is a possibility still, but still, either way, he's gonna be popping all the rest of the year. You're gonna see this guy.
Someone's gonna pop him. I don't know about popping. Someone's gonna get him.
So.
Someone's gonna get him.
I don't think
so. Yeah, I don't think so either, bro.
You see, though, his location. He baited his location or something, and he had to get moved.
Bro, no one came to Zimmerman, man.
Location on his first day landing road. This guy is so clueless.
I see Shakespeare as well. Shout out Shakespeare. He made a comment today saying he said something along the lines of New York is officially the softest city in the world. Facts.
Yo, like, do you think he's gonna be able to do shows? Number two, Nova, are you still interested in booking him?
I didn't try and book him. I done the promo for his tour for like a European company that did book him, but every time it got cancelled, he didn't get let in the country.
Oh, by the way, have you
belated? A snitch.
Yeah, man. Love.
Yeah.
I think he can. I think he will be able to do shows even.
So there's certain crimes. Crimes I don't think are in the snitch thing, like rape, child, anything harming a child, them type of things. There's no gang rules.
Bro, if you're a civilian, there's no such thing as snitching. End of. If you're a civilian.
No. But I'm saying if you're a gangster and you get raped, you don't have to shoot, man. That's not like that's.
There's certain crimes that still relates to, you know what I mean?
That's a different thing. Because
you know what I mean?
There's girl gangsters and they just can't be getting violated by gang members. Oh, no snitching code. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, for real, 100%. And do you know what? This came up a lot, like certain crimes where it's like, yeah, that don't count, like rape. Like, and if like things to do with children, even the elderly, vulnerable people. But then when like rape kept coming up, someone on Instagram put a comment saying, well, like rapists generally don't get charged. It was someone in America who was saying like less than 1% of rapists or even reported rapes get convicted. So they're not really doing that, and you might as well deal with that yourself. Which I completely get his point as well. And I was like, yeah, that's a great point. But you know, going back to another point of what I made it before is like, in theory, we should still be able to say, yo, it's okay to talk to the police or report that situation when that happens. Like, it's not our fault. It's not the victim's fault that those crimes aren't persecuted like efficiently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the kids as well. Unless you're sending them country, then obviously.
Yo, Maggie, plug this.
yeah, because that's what I'm saying. That does come into it as well. I've seen that in the comments online and all that as well. Like with like the county line cases and all of that. It's like, right, you lot got. But you know, that's a whole other complicated situation.
Well,
them kids are in that life.
The entire county line narrative is just based around middle class hysteria.
Yeah,
they're like. Their coke habits in the suburbs
100%
are leading to their own youths shot in for Londoners and people from Manchester and inner cities, and they're just so angry.
I've never met one county lines youth that's looked like he's been forced to do it, bro. I've met a lot of young 16-year-olds with about 20 of each in his each cheek, and he's like, oh, my older brother just sent me down here. It's nothing. Like, I mean, I appreciate they're young. Do you know what I mean? At 15, 16, I was able to make bad decisions, but my own decisions. Do you know what I mean?
No, for sure.
that county line shit's different though, really, because it's
I've
like
been ignoring it, I ain't gonna lie. So I ain't seen one headline. Whenever
It's weird, isn't it? This whole lines thing, like they just started using this term the last couple of years. Like this ain't something that was fucking. This shit is
like,
old, man.
Yeah, man. I know, man, them that have retired from that as a career, like they did.
Yeah, like man, or like got the mortgage paid off and all of that.
Can you imagine though, the news comes on and they're like, yeah, one man's been charged for sending one of his youngest cunch. Like they've got to come up with a term for it. Really.
Yeah. So they came up with their term for it. And fucking hell, man. So I don't know, man. I guess we should kind of like wrap it up, but I don't know. I feel like hold up. Let me just mute anything that's going on. I feel like the answer, the main question I asked was, is no snitching realistic? I think no, it's not. But yes, if you are in, like has been said, you know, if you are involved in a certain lifestyle, then it has to be.
Someone just asked that they a snitch for something. Oh, I don't see the chats. I don't see the chats.
Yo, what about Cameron?
So someone, Kingpin asked, was he a snitch for calling the police on a child that robbed his mum at knife point, or should he have resolved it himself and risked imprisonment and further suffering from my mum? Would me beating up a child be the right move?
That's a good point.
I'm saying like, but that's like his mum calling the police is exactly what we're talking about, is a civilian calling the police, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? So that's that falls into that. Like
also like the seriousness of so if you like certain people, I see them calling police on people taking too many walks and that. I feel like we can throw that into the
I was gonna say that as well. I forgot to write that online.
Like, but if you have been a victim of a crime, because certain times, bro, you can only get stuff back if you go to the police. And
yeah.
The only time, that's the only time I try to ever want to even talk to them is when I need for insurance. And you know what? Sometimes, like last time something happened, like my phone, like I lost it or whatever. I had an insurance policy for for theft, and I just put loss, like because someone must have just taken it, and I was just like, no, I can't be bothered. I'll take the £50 excess rather than the £20 because I don't want to speak to these lot because it's not going to go well. Because even me as a victim trying to get something from them is not going to go well. Because how is it going to?
Has anyone else dealt with the police as a victim?
Like, me, but I've never spoken a fucking word to those guys. I swear, like, I mean, it's no secret, yeah. I've fucked about and been a bit of a shitter over the years. Yeah, I've been a bit badly behaved or whatever. You know, I mean, I never claimed any sort of. You know, I'm not a bad man. I'm not a gangster, but I've done bits. I've done. You know, I've kind of spent a lot of my life breaking the law in some way or another. And even because of that, when I got stabbed in the chest in 2006, 2008. I got stabbed in the chest and had my lung punctured, and I nearly died. And the police were at my fucking house when I got out of hospital every day. CID knocking on my door. We want a statement. Fucking bounce, like get away from my house. I don't even want people seeing you at my fucking door. Like, and this isn't me being a fucking gangster. This is me like the way I see it. I lived a life which brought me to a situation where I got stabbed in the chest. I didn't deserve it. I didn't ask for it, but I put myself in that situation because of the life that I live. So how am I now going to phone the police and go, oh, someone stabbed me? That could have just easily been that guy lying in a fucking hospital bed. And then that guy calls the police on me and what? And then I call him a snitch. But do you know what I mean? It's like, live by your own fucking code. Like,
do you charge that to the game? That there.
What's that? Sorry.
Do you charge that to the game?
What? Me getting stabbed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not really. It wasn't me. It wasn't part of the game. I mean, like, obviously, I've been in situations through active criminality that have put me in dodgy situations. That was just a random one, yeah. But the fact is that I was happy to fight that guy. So I put myself in that situation. I could have ran away. I could have called the police, but that's not the life I've been brought up to live. That's not the life I live. So I'm not going to just switch it now. What? Because I'm the one on the fucking receiving end. No, it doesn't work like that. You can't just pick and choose like that. You can't do it. And if you do, then you run the risk of people that adhere to that code seeing that as like the worst betrayal, and that's when people start getting fucking you know. And like obviously
I've like been with people who have tried to report stuff to the police, yeah, and watching that, yeah, I'm like, oh my god, these lot are bloody useless. Like they ain't got no bloody use. Like I told you, like that's why when you brought up earlier about people getting beaten up by bouncers, one of my bridges, yeah, I was in the club with him or whatever. I'm looking for him, I can't find him. I go into the corridor, there's like 8 bouncers on the dude, like they're strangling the dude, busting him up. And I'm trying to get in, one of the bouncers is holding the door. I'm like, oh, you lot trying to violate. So I try to film or whatever. He's like, all right, send me that footage. I'm calling police.
But they don't give a shit, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, this going on what?
Yeah, because they protect private property, which is the feds. That's all the feds do is protect private property, and bouncers are doing that.
He stopped a police car. Yeah, that was the funniest thing I ever seen. They don't care. I've never seen people care less about nothing. You know, like as soon as he started, yeah, them bouncers, them man stopped listening. I was like, okay, yeah. Like,
I think a lot of it comes down to we have a lot of conversations about the police in different kind of these different debates here, and a lot of it just comes down to, you know, we don't live in a society with a like practical like police force that really is, you know, works for our interest. So, and also we also often talk about, you know, the police. Going back to what Awati said, that there's no point in calling the police on the police because there is no one to police the police. There is no accountability system for the police, so we don't feel like we can trust them because they can't be held accountable for things that they do wrong. They live by a no snitching code. We can't, you know, so it's a very much us and them situation. And I think the only way of solving this, that's why we're in this situation, you know, until there's a way of holding police accountable and the police system can actually work for our benefit much more than it does now, then this is the way things are gonna kind of be.
When things go bad for you, yeah, who do you like? If you need help, yeah, you go to someone that you trust. So if you don't trust the police, you're not going to go to him. You're going to. So like the only way people are going to feel more comfortable with that is having that level of trust for the police, knowing that if they go to him, and I'm not talking about people that are involved in crime because that shouldn't even be on their fucking radar. I'm talking civilians. There's so like law-abiding people out there that won't call the police because there's no trust. They know that they're not going to, especially working class people. Yeah, they know that they're not going to be
working class people and black people.
Working class people don't own property.
Yeah, especially like black people, like minorities,
like don't own property. That's why.
Like, yeah, they get killed. People have called police and died and been arrested once they called them themselves. So that's why there's a lack of trust.
Listen, with my things, when I sued them, I successfully sued them twice. I had to drop two of the cases out of my 4 because of legal aid changes. So I could have sued them 4 times, but I won twice. I decided to not do the IPCC thing, the Independent Police Complaints Commission. I decided
they work for the police anyway.
Because, it's ex-Fed. Yeah, and like two normal people, and then just nothing but ex-Fed. Yeah, so I told my lawyer, because they're like the normal thing to do is go through IPCC first, and then you take what the IPCC has said and use that in your case to strengthen it. And I was like, my bro, it's Bergberg, Pierce and partners, the best human rights lawyers in the world. Not that I know more than him, but I was like, I can't be bothered. It's going to take a year, you're saying, and already that's going to mean 5 years. Let's just have it over in 4. Forget IPCC and just sue them straight, because I don't think nothing good is going to happen from it. In the 3rd year, right, 1 year away from my from the end of the actual case, a report came out that said that 98% of racial complaints to the police, to the IPCC, 98%, in the last 10 years, nothing had happened.
Surprise me.
Yeah.
This is with like people, evidence, the phones. You remember my man was in the whip in 2000 and something, 2010, 11. This black boy is in the van and the Fed called him a nigger and he's like, fam, you just called me a nigger? Yeah, I called you a nigger.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, bless. Cool. You think you're allowed to do that? Yeah, you think you're allowed to do that to me, bro? You can't talk to me like that. And that he had that recorded. That Fed, the IPCC themselves didn't do anything. That's the independent. That's not the Feds on themselves. That's the independent body. Did nothing. That's one case. Then we've got other cases where there's even more flagrant things.
Even killings, though. Even killings. I don't think since the police force have been around, the killings that there hasn't been any. You can look it up. It's from like 19 whatever till now today. There's never been any like police have never been locked up or even arrested.
Never been charged with murder.
Never. Never been charged with murder. That's it.
Never.
It's mad.
Not while they're wearing a uniform, at least. There might have been one or two that have been fucking strangled their wife for the fucking, you know what I mean? One of them.
Trust. More than one or two. They Fed bust up their wives, you know. Yeah, they bust up their wives.
It's a special job. Fuck them.
I guess we're gonna have to wrap it up slightly. So there's anything people wanna still put in.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna bounce. It's been a pleasure.
Love, brother. But I think, in my summary of the questions, is no snitching realistic? And the answer is no. And I think that we have to add another question now: is snitching realistic? And the answer is also no.
And also, is whether it's realistic or not, is it useful? Because I like it as a.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean by that last statement.
Whether it's adhered to or not, I like it as a policy because, you know, what we discussed about the police, everything we just said about the police.
I don't know why what is muted. So, yeah. Why? I think you're muted.
Yeah, bless. No, I just want to say big up Abby being the only person not wearing a hat.
Ramo, it's peak under my hat. I don't want to talk about it.
What?
Please. Yo, B.
Yes, Ben.
Take another sip.
You got to talk as well. Make sure you're on the screen. There you go. All right, man, that's been a big episode. It might be the longest one we've done. We try to wrap these up by an hour and a half max. I know the last one was about the same length because of all the rappers that came on.
You lot are both rappers, so tell them where to holler at you and get your stuff and your social medias, etc. Mrisi, especially.
At Mrisi Music, everything. MRISI music. That's everything. Facebook, Twitter, Insta. And yeah, check out West Baby. It's out now. You can check the write-up out on Complex Magazine. Yeah, West, it's out now. And you should look out for the video. It's coming soon.
Oh, man.
I want to call you to discuss South African politics in a bit.
No, trust me. Yes, bro. Yeah, man. And I'm gonna come on the show again, man. It's been
100%, man.
And it's funny because snitching is really not in my sphere, so it's good to exercise my mind and Socrates thing on the live go. It's good, man. It's good. I like that.
I'm gonna share screen just quickly on a we won't come back on the other side. I'm just gonna play something to just end the show quickly, and then we can talk on the other side when the thing ended. Yeah, just a little clip. Go back to a classic.
Cam.
Any situation where you think it's okay to talk to the police? Yeah, definitely. Say hello, how you feel.
Have a nice day.
That's it. There's not really to talk about with the police. I mean, for what? If there's a serial killer living next door to you, though, and you know that person is, killing people, would you be a snitch if you called police and told them?
If I knew the serial killer was living next door to me,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't call and tell anybody on him, but I'll probably move. But I'm not.
I gotta do it on you, doggy.
We out, man. Flip Life. We'll be back.
Jeez.